up, guys? Welcome to the fastest rising wrestling podcast, the Tuck Your Chin podcast. And today, we are joined by a very special guest from Creative Pro Wrestling in Long Island, New York, Mr. Kip Stevens. Welcome to the Tuck Your Chin podcast.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Man, always a pleasure, dude. You're a badass, man. Always been a fan. You know that.
I'm glad you know it.
Yeah. So let's just get right into a few questions, man. So we'll start with a simple one. So when did you decide you wanted to be a wrestler?
I wasn't somebody that grew up like wanting to be a wrestler. Not because I didn't love wrestling. I did. I just was a very small person. I was always the smallest person in, grade school and in junior high, and I was always very skinny, and I got picked on a lot. So I never thought I would like looking at people on TV like Hulk Hogan or Bret Hart or, big guy or Triple H, guys like that. I knew I didn't have that body type. It wasn't until I saw a Ring of Honor show and saw Colt Cabana in the ring.
Yeah.
And how he performed and the way he was like having fun with it. I was like, all right, I can't be Triple H, but I really can relate to this guy. And then starting to discover indie wrestling and seeing that, oh, wow, like small people can have a nice career on the indies. Like it really opened up my eyes. So I'd probably say like while I was still in college is when I started thinking like, oh man, this could be something I could possibly do. And then found a wrestling school, joined it, and the rest, as we say, is history.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So who were your favorite wrestlers growing up?
All right, so my first favorite wrestler was the Ultimate Warrior. I was really young at the time. He was the champion, and he was like a comic book character come to life. So colorful, so, with the muscles, and just, even when he was speaking gibberish in his promos, it was like, man, this is unreal. Obviously, I was a Hulkamaniac, too. And then I was just kind of following with the times. Like, when Bret and Shawn were on top, I loved both of those guys. I'd say probably, like, when I got a little bit older, like, the first character I liked, it didn't matter if he was a good guy or bad guy, was Chris Jericho.
Yep.
Loved him in WCW. I started, like, and Chris Benoit as well. And those were, like, the two wrestlers that made me start to look at wrestling more like an art form.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like, oh, these guys are beating up each other. Like, it was making me realize, like, some matches are much better than other ones. And it kind of, like, continued through there. I really have an appreciation for all wrestlers. Obviously, Cabana's a huge influence. Even right now, seeing guys like Finn Balor, they do so good in the ring. It's always good to be inspired, no matter what stage you're at.
Yeah, man. Do you like Orange Cassidy too, or?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, I've known him for a while.
Yeah.
And he's always been really cool and polite, and
he's just a chill
really
guy.
Yes. Well, it's just really cool seeing him on the national TV every week. It's really cool that he got recognized for just how good of a character he is.
Yeah.
And how talented he is. And again, all his matches tell such a great story. It's good to see people think outside the box like that, where it's not just, show up in the ring, wearing trunks. Like, it was always cool to do something different. And trust me, I was never on his level in any way whatsoever, but I always, when I was, as Francis Kip Stevens, one tough nerd, I always tried thinking like that. Like, okay, well, these guys are wrestlers, but what is going to set me different from everybody else? And that's why I would dress like a nerd and, do all those things just to stand out a little bit.
Yeah, you mentioned you're a Jericho fan. Do you like what he's doing in AEW right now with the Inner Circle and all that stuff?
Yeah, how could you not? Just the fact that, again, he was somebody for years saying, like, oh, I'll never wrestle outside WWE, blah, blah, blah. And then he started dipping his toes in other waters. And now he's really just coming up with something different and just little things every week. Like, he doesn't know what's going to take off. Like, he didn't think a little bit of the bubbly would take off. Next thing you know, he's put out a wine, a thing of champagne, which is phenomenal. The people who he brought in to be in part of the Inner Circle, how he's made that work. He really is, unafraid to change with the times. He likes to evolve his character, likes to, again, outside the box, do things just a little bit different. He's not wants to rest on his laurels, and that's really admirable and really commendable. I love it. I'm always entertained by it.
Yeah, man. Definitely. Jericho, one of the greatest, man. Up there with Guerrero, Benoit, all of them, dude.
Yeah, and again, I think what he is doing as well. I mean, I think he's in his 50s at this point,
Yeah,
and
close to it.
again, like you can look throughout his career, and it's never the same. There's always something just a little bit different, and it keeps him fresh. So you don't look at him as like, oh, he's a 50-year-old guy. You look at him like,
He's a
what's he
goat.
up to next?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the inner circle. That was really unique. That idea from him. It's amazing. One of the best factions in AEW right now. Definitely.
Well, yeah, I mean, look, they're a new company, and he's obviously, probably the biggest name in it. And he's not somebody who's just there collecting a check. Like, he's trying to make it grow, and he's, giving them a whole different look. Like, if he was just doing what he was doing in WWE with the list, it'd almost be like, oh, now Jericho's doing the list in AEW. Instead, it's like, oh, look at what Jericho's doing now in AEW. And that's a huge difference. And I think that's what has people tuning in, because they want to see what he's doing now as opposed to him just, playing the greatest hits, so to speak.
Yeah, man. I agree with you on that. So, what is it like having Pat Buck and Brian Myers as your trainers at Creative Pro?
I mean, they're just phenomenal. I've known them for a very long time. When I was at a different wrestling school, so when they opened up Creative Pro, it was just only a matter of time before I made that jump, and I was glad I did. Besides just in-ring training and just with the knowledge to drop inside the ring, it's cool to have two mentors, like people you can go to and just bounce ideas off of, or just go to for advice. It really is, something that I'm very lucky and privileged to have. Like Brian will sometimes say things, and I'll like remember it, and just I'll apply it to like daily life in a weird way. And same thing with Pat. Like he'll be explaining things about like he'll watch a match and he'll explain his perspective on it, and I'll be like, wow, I never looked at it that way. And it really, opens up like a whole new world, so to speak. I mean, again, they've been in WWE for so long, it gives you like that next level perspective that's really hard to find. And again, I'm very like lucky, privileged, and blessed to be able to have access to that, to be honest.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely, dude. They're both just amazing performers, trainers, people. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's what they do for all the students at Creative Pro is unbelievable as well. Again, it goes without saying how much I've benefited from it, but just everybody, and just the fact they go out of their way, like even just on shows, you'll see a name brought in, and they'll, again, it's one of the students wrestling them to help out the students. It really is unbelievable, and they're always encouraging creativity, always encouraging us to branch out. Like it really is an atmosphere of wanting you to reach your fullest potential.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, MJF, Chris Stat, we're at AEW.
Yeah.
Cap built.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And again, it wasn't a situation of Pat and Brian got him there. No, Pat and Brian showed him how to wrestle, but like I'll speak to MJF. Like, he was extremely ambitious, and he was not afraid to get in his car and go all over the place. And again, he's a very talented, good-looking guy, so that made it very easy for doors to open for him. Same thing with Chris Stat as well. But again, like ultimately, the foundation was set at Creative Pro, and Pat and Brian encouraging everybody to get out there and let the world see your greatness. And they certainly took the ball and ran with it.
Yeah, man, definitely, dude. Both of them are my favorite wrestlers. Well, on the top indie, man. MJF up there. You're up there too, man. And Chris Stat's up there.
I know I am. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So here's a fun one. Do you have a favorite meet and greet experience? Because I know at Cap shows you're always out there. Do you have like a favorite like person you like interacting with, like a favorite fan that you just like do funny stuff with?
There's it is funny because you just see a lot of like the same faces over and over and over again. Yes, it's certainly Mittens too.
Yeah,
front row, always yelling. I mean, it's fun. And One Tough Nerd is always accommodating. But again, you're kind of touching a nerve there, because I can tell you this for a fact. I know that Evil Kip,
Kip's not a fan
quite
of
frankly,
Millz
doesn't need.
screaming. Or people.
No, Millz is insignificant, just like anybody else who tries to compare themselves to me. And, when I'm out there as Evil Kip, I don't need anybody's validation. If you're coming over to my table, you better be to buy something, because I don't want to waste oxygen on you.
Yeah.
So, it depends on the show, but, it's good to see people there. But again, if Evil Kip's out there, you just better come to my table just to give me money.
Yeah.
And that's all I want.
Stay 6 feet away from me. Pandemic or no pandemic. Basically, something like that.
I was quarantining well before all this.
So what got you into wrestling?
What happened when I was 7 years old? This is going to be a long story. I apologize in advance.
It's okay, man. I like the stories. This is what the interviews are about. Stories, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So, I was climbing a tree and I fell down and I cracked my head on one of those granite bricks that line a driveway. And thankfully, I didn't need surgery, but I cracked 2/3 of my skull.
Oh shit!
And that entire summer, the rest of that year, pretty much they were telling me hey, he can't really have any physical activity. God forbid, he got knocked down again, something could have happened. So I was kind of forced indoors, which is a bummer, because again, summertime you want to be out playing. But because of that, is when I started watching wrestling.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw The Ultimate Warrior, and I was like, oh my God. And SummerSlam 90 came around, and I thought that was the craziest thing. I had to see Hulk Hogan beat up Earthquake, and oh my God, Rick Rude could not beat The Ultimate Warrior. Ultimate Warrior is the best. Those things meant the world to me, and it made such a huge impression. And, as even during the hokiest of times, I always found something to watch. There was always something about wrestling that captured my imagination. It really is basic storytelling, good versus evil, it's always a fun story, and it's always evolving. There's going to be new wrestlers, there's going to be new characters, there's going to be, new stories and new interactions. There's always going to be something there. And again, I even now, I'm a fan of anything that's on wrestling. Put me in, wrestling's on, I'm watching it.
Yeah. Anything? Even Impact? You'll even watch that? I've been getting back into Impact, so yeah.
There's only so many hours in a day, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm still a regular Raw watcher, AEW. I wish I had more time for NXT, but I thought that was the best wrestling, for the longest time. Again, even I've been listening to the Tony Schiavone podcast, What Happened When, and a lot of them were watch-alongs. So, okay, putting on the iPod and putting on that pay-per-view, and I'm watching it. And it could be a pay-per-view I've seen before, it could be something brand new, but I'm just all in on, okay, let me just watch wrestling. Again, some people unwind by watching, a baseball game. Some people unwind by watching a movie. I just really enjoy watching wrestling. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of other things I do watch, but again, for the most part, I'm definitely doing some wrestling watching within a day.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been just watching a bunch of wrestling in quarantine, and just a bunch of TV in general. So it's all I could do. So if you could change anything about the wrestling industry, what would it be?
That's actually a really good question.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, it's something that I wish I could say I don't give it much thought. Obviously, there's always little things that you could tweak here and there, but again, I also think big decisions like that, that's I always joke out of my pay grade. I think that this quarantine thing is going to be interesting to see what happens after it.
Yeah, definitely.
Because even Vince McMahon was saying we might not be touring as much. Because,
concerts,
again,
same thing. They said that there's this country concert that's supposed to happen May 15th. It's actually going on, and they're doing it every other row. They're selling tickets. So how is that gonna work with indie events?
I don't know. And
yeah,
there's nothing like a live experience, so it'd be very weird to see like wrestling without that. There was something I was gonna say. I'm just trying to remember what it was right now. All right, if there was one thing I could change about the wrestling business, it's not about wrestling in general. I think if there was anything that I could change, it would be people's perception of wrestling. I kind of feel like at times, like wrestling still has that like looked like, oh, you know, these are uneducated people, or oh, you know, this is all fake fighting. I wish the perception of wrestling would change, where it become more respected to you know to mass in general, and look at it just as any other profession, and look at it as any other form of entertainment. You don't see people going to a play and going like, "Oh, I'm going to see the fake acting," like, or "I'm going to see the fake story." Like, it's not so much. And again, wrestling. There's things wrestling could do to help that out as well, I'm sure. But ultimately, like the biggest thing I wish in the long run, it would be more like I wish it became more respected as a work of art.
Oh yeah, man. Like I totally agree with you on that one. If someone asked me that, it would definitely be the perception, because like there's so many just assholes today be like, oh, it's fake, but they refuse to take a bump. So you can't say it's fake when you hit the mat. You're gonna be in pain, and then you're gonna have your opinion change. Definitely.
Yeah, my favorite thing is when somebody will say, "Oh, you know it's fake, right?" I want to be like, you're really breaking the news right now, and it still blows my mind. But I mean, again, and that's another thing too. Like, I know that I can't change that perception, but hopefully, like as one man. But you never know. Like maybe it will be one person that changes the perception and becomes more accepted. Who knows?
Yeah, man. I just definitely. I wish like I don't go to a baseball game and be like, oh, I don't know. Well, there's no. I fucked up on that analogy. Oh shit. Yeah. Never mind. We'll move on.
You can edit that one out.
Yeah. Loop it right there. So what is your favorite wrestling moment or event of all time? If you want to do both, go for it.
I mean, those are, you know, there's so many, you know, long answers to that.
Yeah.
Moments. I mean, moments are what make wrestling, and that's what you'll always see like highlights of. You know, like the Stone Cold beer truck was so cool when I was younger. I loved Stone Cold. You know, the first time you saw Jeff Hardy do a Swanton, like, oh my God, I've never seen anything like that. You know, things like that. I mean, they're like Ric Flair when he rejoined the Horsemen in South Carolina on Nitro. That was an unbelievable moment. There's so many things like that. And again, as for events, I mean, there's been plenty of amazing wrestling shows. It's hard to pick just one. Like, it could be anything from like an awesome WrestleMania to like in your house Canadian Stampede, or it could just be an indie show. Like the first ever indie show I went to will always have a warm spot in my heart because, again, like I got to see CM Punk versus Samoa Joe. I got to see Colt Cabana, and like those were things that like obviously stuck with me enough to influence me to become a wrestler. So again, as far as like both of those things, like you really can't narrow it down to just one, and that's like the best part about wrestling is that there's always so many. And again, just like again going back to regular sports, like if you're a Yankee fan, there's so many games you can pick out. Yeah. And then we're again like I'm a New England Patriots fan, and my God, like the past 20 years, I've been blessed with so many amazing games, moments, and things like that. So picking just one in anything is really tough.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about that after this interview. When we talk about sports, we'll talk about that. But yeah, man, I agree. Like, as a Yankees fan, I just can't pick one game. It's just like all of them I watch, and I see, Aaron Judge hit a home run. That's a good moment,
Yeah, and the funny thing about a moment is like it could be a great moment, but like Aaron Boone's home run against the Red Sox. Like, that was so huge, so awesome. Like, that was a great moment. But then they went to the World Series and lost. But we don't really remember that. We just remember that home run.
Yeah.
And that's what's cool about moments as opposed to, like, entire, things, so to speak.
Yeah. Do you have any dream matches? People you like to face either in the company, the releases, in the indies? You got a list?
It's funny about that. Like, I was never once to make lists because it's one of those things that, like, there's so many things that are out of your control to making that happen. But Brian Myers always makes us write up a list at the beginning of the year. And I think after this quarantine, obviously more names could be added to it. I mean, there's wrestlers like a Sami Callihan I think I'd have a good match with. And it's funny because a lot of people were like, really, Sami Callihan? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I don't think people picture me as wanting to have a physical match like that, but I would definitely be down with that. And going along like a different angle too, like Danhausen is somebody who's really done very well, and I would love to have a match with him, just to A, prove that I'm on that level, and B, just because I think, it would be an entertaining match. As far as the releases, obviously I'll put, Brian Myers and Pat Buck on that list just because they're amazing, and, I would love wrestling them. Another name that I actually wants to do a match again, just somebody who I really always enjoyed also, was the Hurricane.
Yep.
So as far as like wacky, ridiculous, fun matches, like Hurricane to be up there, but there were so many, like, in WWE, like I would love to wrestle like Johnny Gargano or Tommaso Ciampa. I mean, those guys are phenomenal. And even just, some of the students at Creator Pro, like I would love to, have just to be on a show, have matches with them. I really enjoyed my last match with VSK. And again, like I'm itching for a rematch because he didn't really beat me, So I think that we should have another match. This way, I can become Creative Pro champion.
I'm in for that. I wouldn't mind that. Evil Kip for Cap champion. All you people, comment below. Even though he doesn't need your opinion, still do it.
Exactly. Like I know I'm gonna take that title one way or the other. So if you want to. Don't like my comment, that's your business. If you want to hate my comment, well, go up yours. That's all.
So do you get anxiety like in front of a crowd or before the curtain or when you first started? Did you get like anxiety in front of going like in front of a live crowd or no?
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to be nervous.
Yeah.
It's a different type of nervous from when you start your career to what it is now. Like you get that nervous excitement where you want to go out there in front of like a crowd and perform. It's very weird. Joey Ryan talks about this a lot, and I kind of relate to it. Like he has a very bombastic character, but backstage he's very quiet and kind of keeps to himself. And I'm kind of the same way. As a person, I kind of like to keep to myself at times. I still get nervous meeting people for the first time.
Yeah.
If there's a large group and everyone's like making jokes, sometimes I'll be like the quiet one, just kind of observing. And again, that might rub people the wrong way, but A, I don't care, but B, it's also just the way I am. So I think I get more anxiety behind the curtain.
Yeah, as soon as before you go out, right? That a lot of people say that.
Yeah, and again, just it's weird when I'm out there in my underwear screaming at people. I feel like I'm in control.
Yeah.
Yet when I'm backstage in a pair of shorts and just having a conversation, that's where I feel more anxiety. Probably should see a doctor for that.
Hey, that's okay, man. That's okay. So here's a fun one. So you have two contracts in front of you. AEW, WWE. Who would you choose and why? Yeah, I brought those questions, Kip. You know that.
Whichever one's paying me the most money.
But like, do you have a preference out of the two, or is it just wherever the money's calling?
I mean, both are phenomenal companies.
Yeah.
Again, it really is. Again, this is the wrestling business. Ultimately, money is a huge decision. If there's a huge difference, obviously, like you should go to the one that has more money. But both of them have tremendous advantages. One reason why I would say maybe WWE is just because I've watched it my entire life.
Hey, you
So it's
wrestled for
always
WWE too. You know,
yes, I
he
have.
tried to open the cage. Maybe
no,
if you
no,
guys
I
don't.
didn't. I knew to avoid that cage. Yeah, actually, speaking of people who I should face Rowan again because I was just on the verge of beating him. I was ready to get things going, and he got one lucky shot in. So I think a rematch for him is something that's down the line as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like anytime I've been fortunate enough to have that, like everybody there has been phenomenal top to bottom and just really like unbelievably like made me feel very comfortable to say the least. And again, like if you were to go to WWE and go to NXT, you have amazing coaches and facilities to learn from, and it seems like the goal for everybody there is to make you the best version of yourself. And that's something that's very, 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 very rewarding just in any business if there's like a setup like that. So, again, it's not like, again, I haven't had any experience with AEW, but I also hear just amazing things about that company as well. So I think it's a no-lose situation if those contracts are in front of me. That either decision will be amazing.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Do you have a favorite match you wrestled so far?
Again, that's such a hard question. There's so many questions that there's so many like answers to that question.
Top 5.
My goal,
you can do top 5, top 10, whatever you want.
Yeah, there's some that come off the top of my head. I mean, I remember like my whole goal in wrestling was just to have one match. I felt like if I did that, like when I first joined wrestling, then I knew then I did it, and it will never be taken away from me. And obviously, since then, I've done beyond that, and I'm so grateful for that. I mean, I've had amazing matches with Papa Don and NYWC. We eventually went to a street fight. Same thing with Dickie Rods. That was amazing. The first time I won a title was against Alex Reynolds and Tony Nese, both who are under contract. And the whole backstory behind all that match happening was really meant the world to me on so many levels. Like the one I just had with VSK was awesome. I had a great match with Max Caster a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Had a great match with Dick Justice at Beyond Wrestling at a secret show that was really, really, really a lot of fun. I had a tag match against LAX, Santana and Ortiz, I should say. There really is. Yeah.
Go ahead.
It really is so many to name. Yeah, it's okay. There's so many that I can name, and I genuinely have an appreciation for every match I've had and the experience I had, and it's hard. Like those ones just stand out. But again, like there's, and if you ask me tomorrow, there'll probably be a few more that I remember. Like, oh yeah, that match I had meant a lot. Like, matches against Mike Mondo were huge, huge for me as well. So again, like ultimately, I'm truly grateful for any of the matches I've had.
Yeah, you and Stapp always bring it down, man. Truthfully, you guys always tear down the house. You and
well, we all know I was carrying that team, so that was why.
Hey, as opponents too, man. You guys are amazing in there. Yes,
I know I'm amazing.
Yeah. So was Creative Pro the first place you trained at? I would say no, and I did some research. I saw you in NYWC. Or did you train at NYWC first, or?
Yeah, that was my first school. I was at a trade show, and they had a table set up there, and I started talking with some of the guys there, and then I started talking with Dickie Rods, their champion at the time, and he goes, "Hey, you should come to one of our shows." And I just said, instead of going to one of your shows, do you guys have a school? And I don't know what possessed me to say it, what gave me the courage to, and instead of him laughing at me, he actually was like, "Oh yeah, that'd be a great idea." I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, you seem respectful. It seems like you care. If you really want to do this, just do it." So that's where I started training, and it was, definitely, it was a hard environment because there were so many great people there. It was very much sink or swim, and the guys there didn't want to slow down for you. So, like when you're in the ring and the other people there were Tony Nese, Trent Beretta, Papa Don, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, just to name a few. Like, again, if you're slowing them down, that they're angry. So it was something that made me want to work harder to become the best wrestler I could be, because I wanted to be just as good as them. And again, even there's just tons of names that I'm probably not naming, obviously, and who are just as good. And just to hang with any of them was definitely a challenge. But I was glad I was able to, to the best of my ability, achieve it.
Yeah, man. So this is a good one. So how did you come up with the name Kip Stevens?
Okay, so
Hey, go for it, man. I like these stories. These are the stories I enjoy. The name.
Oh God.
Yeah.
When I first started training at NYWC, for some reason they were making fun of me because of my voice, and they said I sounded like Napoleon Dynamite's brother, and his name was Kip, and then they started calling me Kip. And this was maybe like my first or second week in there. And later that weekend, we had a show, and then Mikey Whipwreck was like, "Is Kip here?" I'm like, "How the hell does he even know my name?" And from there, it kind of stuck. So when it came time to have a name at wrestling, the booker was trying to come up with names. I'm like, you realize that everyone's going to call me Kip no matter what, so it has to be in there. So he was like, yeah, but Francis is such a nerdy name. And I'm like, well, that has to be Francis, Kip. And then I said Stevens just because I wanted something normal. And the booker was like, oh, how about Kip Land? I was like, okay. But everyone just, again, calls me Kip. And it's definitely stuck. And, I think Papadon said this once. He goes, you can go on to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, but you'll always be Kip to us. And I'm like, okay. And it's something that I haven't really, run away from. I've actually embraced it.
Yeah, man. So what promotions do you want to wrestle at that you haven't already?
Wherever will have me. Nobody gets a no. Again, it's true though. Like, why limit yourself?
Yeah.
I love wrestling. I love, I don't mind doing the drives, getting in a car and going. I don't mind getting on a plane and going. Wherever will have me. Again, it's a weird thing because of this pandemic. Like, who knows when wrestling will be back? But one thing, I would always want to go overseas to wrestle just to say I did it. So that'd be something that would be a goal. So if you're listening in the UK and you run a wrestling promotion, I am available.
Yeah. Evil Kip preferably. Just saying.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Yeah, I think I would embrace the culture as well over there.
Yeah. Maybe a little USA as your ring gear. Hey, just saying. Who knows?
No. Evil Kip changes for no one. Evil Kip doesn't represent America, Evil Kip represents himself, and that's it.
Okay. See you there. So, did you have a plan B when you first started training? Just in case, like, it didn't work. Did you have, like, a backup job or, like, a career?
So I did graduate from college with a degree in mass communications. But again, like, it was one of those things that I was interning at a radio station, and then the radio station, like, changed format, so everybody got fired from there, and it was just like, what the hell am I getting myself into? It really left a bad taste in my mouth. And even just when I was interning there, just seeing the way it's done, it was just like, you could just tell something wasn't sitting right. So I do have, like, a job that I go to, the Clark Kent job, but wrestling is this thing that makes me come alive. If I could go back in time, I would probably, obviously, look for a different, major instead of, like, how I spent money on something I'm not really in right now. But again, like, that being said, that part of my life helped sculpt me who I am today. Obviously, I had to take public speaking classes, and that was something that used to give me great trepidation. But now I have no problem, cutting a promo in front of people. I have no problem being in front of a crowd like that. It's interesting, and that was something that, if I wouldn't have taken those classes, who knows if I'd be a wrestler right now. So,
yeah,
and again, like, if I've learned anything in life, it doesn't matter where you are now, you could change it all tomorrow, and you could go for something else. And, again, the the options and possibilities are endless.
Yeah. Best advice someone gave you, comes with wrestling, I guess. Yeah.
I have a few things that kind of come to mind. I mean, some of them aren't positive, but I'm gonna just say how they helped me out. When I first got to IWC, like I was messing up everything. Like I was definitely uncoordinated, and nobody there really liked me at first. And a wrestler named Bruno Marciano told me just to shut the fuck up, and I was like, "What?" And then again, I could take that as a negative, but it was actually a positive because he told me like the best thing you could do when you mess up something is just nod your head and just try and do it better the next time. Don't try and justify when you do something wrong. Just shut the fuck up and just move forward. And again, it was something that really was important to me because it's true. Like, I'll see new people come into Creative Pro, and sometimes they have that attitude too. And I'm like, dude, sometimes just less is more. Just keep your mouth shut and just ears and eyes open. And it really is something that helped me out a lot through life. Like, I've learned when to kind of shut my mouth and just absorb everything, and like, okay, and when the time is right, when it was time to speak up, and I did, it proved more beneficial that way. So that was good. Tony Mamaluke gave me some really good advice. He told me, I mean, there was a bunch of things that we used to talk about, but one of them he said about wrestling is, he goes, it's a war of attrition. He was like, there's going to be people who are worse than you that'll never make it, they're going to drop off. But there's also going to be people who are much better than you who will never make it, and they're going to drop off. But if you really love it, just stick with it, keep your head down, and you'll find yourself getting opportunities. And he was right about that, because like you mentioned, I was able to have a couple matches on WWE TV, and that was something that was totally unexpected, and I mean, it was just unbelievable. It was something that I never thought would ever happen. I honestly never thought it would ever happen. It wasn't like, yep, I'm going to get on TV. Never. Just the fact that I've had those two matches is something, again, that will never be taken away, and are probably I'd have to say my two proudest moments in wrestling.
Okay. Do you prefer working as a heel or a babyface? This is another good one.
Those terms are all familiar to me. I do whatever I want.
One tough nerd.
I just do whatever I want to do whenever I go through that curtain.
Okay. That sounds.
If I want to be a little bit nicer to the fans, I can do that. But quite frankly, if I just want to go out and flip everybody off, I do it because I can, and nobody can tell me otherwise.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Do you have a favorite wrestling promotion?
Creative Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, I could have guessed that. Favorite wrestling event you attended as a fan?
I was at WrestleMania 20. That was really awesome. The first ever house show I went to, just because it was my first time ever going to a WWE show when I was a senior in high school, so it was pretty wild that I was finally able to go to a show. My first Ring of Honor show, All-Star Extravaganza 2 in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Those ones meant a lot to me. Again, if I go to a show, I'm always having a good time. It's just, oh, cool, here, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite finisher?
Mine.
Okay. Now, my co-host who's not here would probably ask you this question by now. So, there's this finisher that it's kind of controversial. I just want to know your opinion on it. The overdrive?
Okay.
What do you think? If it's effective?
I think if anybody used it on me, I'd kick out of it. And I think if I used it, it would probably break someone's neck. But I don't need to do that. I just have my own moves, and they're the most effective because I'm the one doing them.
You can. The overdrive is scary, man. Could give me a heart attack.
Well, again, I'm sorry to hear that. And again, if I applied it to you, it would probably give you more than a heart attack.
Yeah, I'd be like.
But again,
asleep.
All I know is if somebody tries it on me, I'm kicking out of it. That's all.
Yeah. So, do you have someone you enjoy working with the most in the ring?
Honestly, like I am. There's gonna be some people you have better chemistry than others with in a match. Like, that goes without saying. But if anybody's in there, I'm just grateful to be having a match with them. I hope I'm on people's list. If I'm not, whatever. And same thing, like, whoever I'm in the ring with, I'm happy to work with them and make the most of it. When the bell rings, it doesn't matter if it's your favorite person or your least favorite person. You just make it happen and make it work. And again, like, just appreciate every moment of it.
Yeah, man. So, how do you keep yourself occupied during this quarantine?
Well, I am fortunate enough where I've been working from home.
Okay.
So a lot of my hours have been into that. I've still been working out every day, just doing what I can. During some downtime, I've been reading, catching up on some things that I never had time for because I was gone on the weekend. Again, I've been watching some movies, watching some TV shows. I finished Parks and Rec, so that was something that was fun. I think just like anybody else, just, doing whatever we can just to kill time and get by and just, one day at a time. That's all we can do.
Yeah, man.
And watching wrestling, of course.
Yeah, of course. So I'll keep the extra work as the last question. So I got one more before that. So you can answer any way you want it on this one. So whose idea was it for the heel turn?
What does that even mean? What are you talking about?
One tough nerd was like, you know what? I'm sick of all these assholes in the crowd. Evil Kip awoke.
It's funny that you say that. Awoke. Here's the thing. One tough nerd Kip. I loved going out there, and I loved entertaining. Loved being a nice guy, but it got me jack shit, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And I was being held back, and I wasn't getting the respect I deserve. So, awoke. I've been this damn good for a long time, and it's about time people understand that. People weren't taking me seriously. I used to dress up like that, and people would tell me, "Oh yeah, you're going to be great for the kids," like I wanted to.
Fuck the kids.
It's kind of good to do what I want to do for once.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need anybody's validation, and quite frankly, I don't need rules. I don't care what people tell me in the back that I'm supposed to do on a show. That's not happening anymore. I'm just doing whatever the hell I want, and I'm enjoying it. I enjoy making myself number one, finally. And what's funny? Since I started doing that, doors opened, opportunities opened. Oh, look at this. Quite frankly, it looked like everybody knew how good I was and was trying to hold me back. So right now, I'm just living life with the handcuffs off and just doing whatever the hell I want. Decision. Whose decision was it? That was a stupid question. Because it wasn't anybody's decision. I'm just doing what I want to do. Decisions. Like I follow rules. Fuck that. I just do whatever I want to do.
Okay. So here's another good one. So like, how was it?
No. This will be your first good one. If this hasn't been another, this will be your only good one.
Okay, yeah, this will be my only good one. So how was it, like, the experience of being like an extra on WWE, like facing Rowan on 205 Live? Like, how was it?
It wasn't on 205 Live. It was Raw.
No, didn't you have another match on 205 Live? No, that was VSK and Tibbs. That was my bad.
I had a match on SmackDown and Raw.
Yeah.
You see, because let me get. See, good question. Why don't you get your facts straight and then ask a good question?
Okay, not bad.
So I'll tell you how the experience was.
Yeah.
I got to wrestle heavy machinery on national television on Fox, the big network. And again, as much as I lost, it was unfortunate, but again, I got to do it, so I'm grateful for the opportunity. On Raw, I got to wrestle Eric Rowan. And again, unfortunately, I lost. I'm 0-2 for my WWE career, which is unfortunate. They got some lucky shots in, but again, that doesn't mean I'm going away.
Yeah.
I mean, something that is very cool is when you go into the WWE Network in the search thing, you can type in Kip Stevens and the matches come up, which blows my mind. So you could do it with Bret Hart, Ultimate Warrior, Rick Rude, AJ Styles, anybody you want. And you can still do it with me, and my matches will come up, which is something that will never cease to amaze me. Again, as far as the experience, how could you say anything other than it was like amazing and phenomenal and just probably like the best moments of my career.
Oh yeah, man. It's just like being in WWE, like even as an extra, it's just like amazing. Like it's just an atmosphere that's like unique. Like AJ Styles, Heavy Machinery, Rowan, all of them. Like I never dreamed that I'd meet them first of all, or like wrestle them, and that's insane.
Yeah, again, I've been fortunate enough to do it a few times, and like the first time I ever went, just doing it for the first time was very overwhelming. You're in the same kidding area as everybody on SmackDown, because I went with SmackDown. So literally, a table over from me was John Cena eating, and I'm online, and Dean Ambrose is in front of me getting food as well. And you're just kind of like, what is this? And it's very overwhelming. And then eventually you do a couple of things here and there. I was fortunate enough to be a WWE medic for Kevin Owens on a SmackDown.
Yep.
I was backstage for Raw 25, and even though I wasn't on TV, I got to have a half an hour conversation with Mean Gene Okerlund because he sat at my table and just started talking with us.
Such a great guy. Rest in peace.
Beyond great.
Rest in peace.
And then just SummerSlam weekend where I got to be involved in the Tommaso Ciampa Johnny Gargano match, playing a production assistant, getting super kicked in the head and then getting thrown on top of Gargano. To the next night, to have AJ Styles, taking me and throwing me during the Samoa Joe match. Like, those were amazing moments. And even though they weren't matches, they were still amazing. And that whole weekend just being like, wow, I'm doing a spot in the Barclays Center. And I'm in the same building as all these megastars. And if there was one thing that I'm again, this might sound crazy, but what kind of keeps me calm in all those situations, that I just think to myself, I'm here for a reason. Yeah, these guys are superstars, but today I'm their peer. I am on their same level because they need me in this match just as much as, anything. And even if it's a small thing, like, I'm still a part of the match somehow. And, again, that can be overwhelming for some, but for me, it's just like, just remember, you're here for a reason, you belong here, and, it's going to come out okay. And thankfully, every time, so far it has.
Yeah. Did you do anything at Mania 35? Or no?
Yeah. Yes.
Batista?
I was part of Batista's entourage.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually,
a lot of people did that. Eric James did that. Clash did that. Oh, my bad. You keep going.
Yeah,
I'm thinking. Yeah, man.
Which is a story I love telling. So if he listens to this, I always repeat to Bobby Orlando that if he would have fell off the stage, that WrestleMania would still be going on because I'd be still laughing on that stage if that happened. Yeah, actually, and I'll give Max Caster did it as well. I mean, if there's one story that I can give from that, at the rehearsal, it looked like they had enough people. So it looked like I was going to be left out. And they're like, no, we want you part of it too. And they're like, go in the front seat of this car. I was like, okay. And during the rehearsal, that was the car Batista was in. Same thing on the show too. So Batista comes in, he's like, hey, how you doing, everybody? And I introduced myself to him. And again, that's kind of mind-blowing. Like, here's Drax the Destroyer introducing himself to me.
Yeah.
And he gave me a cool thing. He was like, hey, just remember, CM Punk started the same way, so good luck. And I was like, wow. Like, he didn't have to say that, but that was really cool that he did.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Yeah, that Batista entrance was fucking insane. Who drove?
Yeah.
Was it were any of the wrestlers driving, or was it just like random people that actually drove the cars?
Yes, the driver. I'm not sure who was the front driver, but the driver in my car was Indie Ref Hansen, who's a character to say the least. So
Okay.
again, the fact that they trusted him behind the wheel makes me laugh as well.
Yeah, well, like you didn't. Did you have you didn't use you didn't have any butterflies in front of like MetLife, dude? That's like huge. Damn.
Well, I mean, it was amazing. It was
Yeah.
cool. But again, you got to stay in that moment and just be like, all right, this is what my role is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not too many people can say that they did something in front of that people. But, like if I or the butterflies would be there, and you just focus on what you have to do and just remind yourself that you're real and you can do it.
Yeah.
If that's your debut match, like that's another thing. Like imagine Ronda Rousey when she did her debut match was at WrestleMania. That's incredible right there. But again, like you build up for those moments, and again, that's why you tie up your boots. That's why you spend all that time in training to have moments like that and opportunities like that.
Yeah, man. I hear that you still watch wrestling today. So, what do you think of the Fiend?
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Just
man.
yeah. I mean, he's doing a great job with it. Like, it's captivating every time it's on TV. Like, I'm again, there's not much I dislike, but I definitely really, really, really enjoy that. And it was cool. I'll give you another inside story. So one time as an extra at a SmackDown, I just happened to be walking in a hallway, and he was getting ready to go out on TV, and it was just like, man, this is like seeing it that up close was pretty epic.
What, as the Fiend?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Holy shit. Is it like cooler in person, like backstage, like the whole outfit?
Yeah, I mean it's awesome, and even again, like I'm sure as a fan, seeing it in person too is a trip. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was just
Bray Wyatt's like such a fun going guy. Like, is he like was he so chill? Like even in the Fiend outfit, because I'd probably be like fucking scared out of my fucking balls talking to the Fiend.
Well, I didn't talk to him at any stretch. It was just us walking by each other. But again, like it looked like he was in the zone, ready to go, and
Yeah.
like it was just awesome to see in person. Like wow, like it was when you get up close, like in an arena or something. Sometimes like things look awesome on TV, but seeing them in person translate more. Kind of like the Undertaker's entrance.
Oh,
like you can see it on TV and love it, but when you're there in person, it takes on like that whole new level. That's what it was like. Just walking by, I'm like, oh man, this is unreal.
Yeah, man, I agree. Fiend is probably like one of my favorite things in WWE right now. Definitely. So
Yeah.
So let's talk about music. So what's your music taste, Mr. Kip? What do you got?
I grew up on '90s alternative, so
Fuck yeah.
pretty much the.
Fuck
Yeah, I mean, so if it's like that, I'm gonna be interested. The best band of all time is Oasis, so
Yeah.
you can go from there.
Yeah.
Always like Weezer.
9 Inch Nails.
I mean, yeah, they have songs that I'm really into as well, and they definitely have a vibe and aesthetic that's really cool. This is not like a newer band, but like Gaslight Anthem was some band that came out fairly recently that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't really listened to much new music lately, just because I haven't really been traveling as much. But there's always going to be something that'll hit my ear that I'll really enjoy.
Are you on
definitely more
board
rock
for
music.
are you on board for an Oasis reunion? I am. Hey.
I'll be amazed if they do it. If they ever do it, I'll be amazed. I'll make it a point to see them in concert because I never have.
Yeah, man.
Who knows if it'll last a month, a week, a day, a minute. That's the thing about Oasis. It's always going to be a ticking time bomb with those two.
They just gotta
I'm all on board
stop
for
being assholes. Just for one tour. At least let like all your newer fans see you. Please.
Yeah, but you know what? They have. I shouldn't say they. It seems like Noel Gallagher has no interest in it, and God bless him. If that's the way he wants to live his life, it's his decision. But all it was they were to reunite and come back. Like they would be able to sell the tickets.
Oh yeah, man. They would probably sell out like Jones Beach in like 5 minutes.
I think they'd be playing bigger venues than Jones Beach.
MetLife.
I don't know about MetLife, but that would definitely be an awesome concert if they were able to do it.
Yeah, man.
I mean, over in Europe, they sell up Wembley Stadium, so that's where they're. That'd be really cool if I could ever see them in the UK. That'd be like a trip and a half.
That would probably be the loudest concert ever, not just because of them, but all the people singing every word.
And that's what makes it the best.
Yeah, man. 90s alternate. Oh, Nirvana, of course.
Yeah, I don't think they're reuniting.
Who knows? CGI, things happen.
Oh, no, never.
Oh fuck! What? Soundgarden. Chris Cornell.
They're not reuniting.
Oh nope. No, I don't think. Smashing Pumpkins is another good band.
Well, I think they have reunited.
Oh no, they're still going. Original. They're still going around. They're still they're still a band.
Yeah, I was into them. Those are bands that are awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, it's for me. It was the music I grew up with, so it's always going to be timeless to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I grew up on a lot of hard rock and heavy metal, so I was never a rap guy. Never will be. 90s rap, though. Yeah. 90s rap, I could deal with. That's it. Tupac, all that fun stuff. So do you like any, today hard rock or metal, like Breaking Ben, 3 Days Grace?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like 3 Days Grace.
Oh, dude, that was the high school vibes for 3 Days Grace.
Yeah, I mean, but this whole thing, I'm trying to think, I can't even think of, a modern band right now that I'm like, oh, yeah, which shows I'm getting old and I'm a little out of touch. But, again, every now and again, if I throw on the radio and I hear something I like, I'll be like, this is a cool song.
Yeah.
I wish off the top of my head, I can't think of one right now, which is a shame because it makes for uninteresting podcast material. But, again, if it has guitars to it, I'll definitely give it a chance.
I'll give you a band to give it a goog. Motionless in White.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's heavy, but the guitars in it are amazing. So if you're that headbanger with the guitar, you might enjoy it.
I'm down with it.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So, Patriots, huh? Yikes. I mean, hey, if this new QB is gonna bring you to a Super Bowl, all means by you, man.
I hope so.
Yeah, man. You may have to roast me for this, or just roast the team. I'm a Redskins fan.
Oh my God! Why do I have to do it? Your owner's been doing it for you guys. Man, the Washington racists. Those guys. Ugh.
Yeah. Hey,
change the name of the team. Change the name of the team.
Hey, just change the name, but just make it Washington football. Do whatever.
It's a shame because in the 1980s they were an institution. It was, year-long wait lists to get season tickets. You had no people to even get tickets to games, and now, it's an empty stadium. It's a real shame that that's what happened. But again, it just kind of shows the cycle of football and what bad ownership can do. And
oh yeah,
again, as dominant as the Patriots look now, I do know that there's going to be a time where they're going to go back to being the dregs of football like they were when I was a fan, when I first started rooting for them. And that's the thing, the Redskins at one point were looked at as a model institution, and now they're looked at as a joke. You never know. Things can change.
Dude, hopefully not, man. Ron Rivera better do something for us. I'm begging.
I mean, at least he seems like a good hire. At least somebody who will change the culture. So, I mean, it looks like you're off to the right start. But again, who knows?
Yeah,
again,
things happen, dude.
Yeah, things happen. But they also happen the other way, too. Like, you could be stuck with a bad coach and a bad quarterback, and I could set your franchise back 10 years.
Yeah. So, like, what do you think's happening this season? You think empty stadiums, or you think there might be hope for fans? Because Ticketmaster already started selling tickets for like the season games, which is insane.
Yeah. Again, and I personally, if it's me with my money, I'm not taking that risk of buying those tickets to hopefully get a refund if something doesn't happen. It's the great unknown. Nobody knows anything. No. And as crazy as it sounds, like every month you don't know. You don't know. When we first got quarantined, like for like my job too, like I kind of came with the attitude, like, you know what? I'm not gonna have any expectations. I don't want to anticipate, because I'm sure a lot of people were thinking, oh, this will. In a couple of weeks, we'll all be out.
Oh, no. It started. People were going like, "Oh, May, summer." I mean, I still hope, dude. Hopefully, summer. Hopefully, I can have a summer, dude. Hopefully, I can have a graduation, dude. I'm class of 2020, man.
But that's the thing. Like, it's hard to speculate. Like, you don't know anything.
No,
you don't know. And I think it's kind of irresponsible to even like, everything will be fine by this time. Like, I think at this point, the more people realize we don't know anything, the better off we'll all be. Like, I remember when the quarantine first started and people were like, oh, I'm going to put out content, blah, blah, blah. Like, and now everyone's kind of like really like understanding the severity of this instead of making jokes about it. Like, again, I think that everybody needs to just
stay home.
Like, whatever plan. Yeah, well, that's the most obvious thing. But, like, in whatever plans you had, they kind of just wipe them off the board and just, you have to plan for another time, unfortunately. Again, I was supposed to be down in Tampa for WrestleMania week, and I was looking forward to the matches I had, the opportunities I had, but those went out the window, and either I could sulk about it or I can just move forward. And I think that's what everybody needs to do, is kind of like, whatever plans I had, all right, they're gone, now I have to move forward.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I was supposed to go down to Florida for vacation this summer, dude. That's not happening. Move on next year.
Yeah.
If next year doesn't happen, move on for the next year. That's how I'm gonna treat it, man. I think that's the way to do it. But yeah, graduation, dude. I think everyone's agreeing, man. Hopefully they do something unique, not online.
Yeah.
So
who knows? I mean, it's a sad thing, but again, like, who knows?
Yeah. So I heard you watched Parks and Rec. I'm actually gonna watch that show after I finish The Office. Is it like as good as The Office? Have you watched The Office before?
Yeah. Yes, I have watched The Office.
Okay. I'm wearing my Dunder Mifflin shirt right now.
There you go. Very Philip Cardigan of you. Yeah, I mean, if you're into
comedy,
if you're into that kind of workplace humor, it's definitely in the same vein as The Office. It's very enjoyable, very funny, and again, if you get involved in the characters, and that's the thing about the show, just like The Office, where there's
Dwight,
multiple characters like that, they play off each other very well. That's certainly the case with Parks and Rec as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Dad and 30 Rock, I need to check out. I was just so
30
young.
Rock is excellent.
I was so young, I never watched it, man. I have to go back and... So, like, do you watch Netflix or no?
Yes.
You watched All American, Outer Banks, any of those, like, Netflix shows?
Not really, but just like everybody else in America, I did watch Tiger King, and that was fun.
Something. That was something.
Yeah. Unreal. That's one thing like Netflix is good on, is like they'll drop something and it'll suddenly take over the culture. And that was certainly one of those things.
That bitch Carol Baskin. Dude, he's insane. Well, everyone's insane in that show. I don't think there's one sane person in that show.
Maybe the Tigers.
Yeah, probably the Tigers, to be honest, man. You think Carol did it?
Oh God. I don't want her coming for me based on my answer.
Hey. I mean, man, who knows? Maybe not. But you know, she's got the eyes of a psychopath. Who knows?
I just think that
shit went
first
down.
off, it's interesting to see how those zoos are probably doing during this quarantine.
Yeah,
like those poor animals. But the other thing I would say is, I'm sure since this, she's probably getting harassed left and right. So.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, dude. Yeah.
So maybe.
Yeah. Let's not talk shit about Carol Baskin on this podcast.
Yeah.
What else? Movies. You said you were watching a bunch of movies. You got any recommendations for me? TV shows, movies? I got nothing but time, my man.
You know, I just last weekend saw Knives Out, and that was a fun movie. So if anybody wants to have a quarantine recommendation, definitely Knives Out was something that's not too heavy on the brain, fun, definitely an enjoyable movie. And that's fairly recently, too. Okay.
Is that Netflix?
I don't know where it's at, but I whatever you have to do to find it, it gets the seal of approval from me. So, again, if you're bored out of your skull and looking for something different, watch Knives Out is my recommendation.
Okay. You into like stand-up comedy?
No, I have nothing against it. I just don't actively seek it out.
You don't watch like any of the Netflix specials on it?
Nah. I think just because when you're wrestling all the time, like training all the time, and then going out on weekends, when you do have free time, like, you know, some people will go to stand up, but for me, I'm always trying to catch up on like TV shows that I haven't seen or like movies that I haven't seen. So the comedies are the stand up specials usually get pushed to the back burner. But I hear that some of them are excellent.
Oh yeah.
So maybe that's something that if I find time for, I'll do that as well.
Yeah. I got Sebastian Maniscalco. Any of his specials, you will laugh your ass off. Man.
All right, I'll keep that in mind for this quarantine as well.
Yeah, man. So this is a part in the on a podcast where we usually ask the guests if they have any questions for the host. Now some do, some don't. So give me something, whatever you got, man. Hit me with it.
All right. So what do you want to see from wrestling going forward?
Like even like with this coronavirus around.
Yeah, if like, what are some things you want to see for wrestling going forward?
Well, definitely AEW's doing amazing with how they're handling it. Definitely. WWE, they're doing okay with it, but maybe try to do what AEW's doing. Put a few wrestlers ringside, do like stuff like that, because that would be hilarious. But I think once this is over, definitely do more safety measures. Even if you have to do what that concert's doing every other row, those people, go for it, you know? But, like, bring us back, but in a safe way. Once there's a cure or a vaccine.
And the other thing I'll throw at you is, what makes you a fan of wrestling?
Man, the storylines, the characters. Like, the first thing I saw that got me into wrestling, Seth Rollins breaking up the Shield, that became a 5-year storyline. And I was like, wow. And it was insane. Because, like, the Authority came in. That was pretty cool to me. But, like, it was always that those three, they were always, like, with each other until Ambrose left. So, 5 years. It was, like, a 5-year long-term storyline. And the characters, too, man. Like, The Fiend, Ambrose was amazing. Wyatt, either before The Fiend. Yeah, man. Just characters and the storylines.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Any fun questions for me? Hey, whatever you got, man.
Yeah, well, why is Evil Kip the best wrestler at Creator Pro or the world?
Because he doesn't give a shit. That's what people
There we
need to
go.
start doing.
No, because no one can do it as well as I do.
Okay. Yeah. That's my answer.
Yeah. But, well, I do like the accurate representation of Evil Kip.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And dude, it's always a pleasure going to cab events, taking that selfie with you, man. It's always you're a cool dude, man. Cool dude. I appreciate you, man.
I know I am.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, well, you buy stuff, so that's why I'll take a picture with you.
Of course, man. You know, even if I had to wear a Shook Crew shirt in our first picture together, I mean, we still had that fun interaction, you know?
Yeah, horrible decision on that shirt, but,
Yeah.
Hey,
To reach your own.
exactly.
So, if you want to do an outro first, plug whatever you want to, shout out whoever you want, go for it, man.
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Francis Kip STVNS, Facebook at Francis Kip Stevens. If you want to get a merchandise shirt from me, I will be more than happy to do that. Just have to slide into my DMs and we will discuss. I will be appearing at, look at this, no shows. But when things do get up and running, I am looking to hit the ground running. So definitely follow me on any of those platforms, stay informed, and again, just look out for me.
Yeah, man. Thank you again, Kip, for coming on. Follow him on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'll put his Instagram in the bio below, and I appreciate that. If you did enjoy the episode, hit that like button, subscribe, comment, hit that post notification bell so you never miss an upload. Follow us on Instagram at Tuck Your Chin Podcast. And, don't forget to tuck your chin. Because if not, what happens, Kip, if you don't tuck your chin? Shit happens.
I'm going to break your neck.
Yeah. He's going to break your neck if you don't tuck your chin. Peace out, guys.
Move slow.